everybody, this is Sherry at djsundry.blogspot.com, and I have a quick birthday card to make, and I actually have already made one. I was inspired by watching the Make It Monday from Paper Tray Ink, and she did a graduating stepping off scene, and I worked and I worked and I worked with it, and let's just say I ended up with a big mess. It didn't really work out. It was a lot of fun. I just don't have the proper stamps. So what I'm going to do is something that then I decided to do when that didn't work from before. But first I want to show you a few fun things. I recently had a birthday, and I just wanted to show you a couple fun things I got for my birthday. My daughter bought me these two Spellbinders, so now I have 3 sets of Spellbinders Nestabilities. So I'm really excited to be using these sometime soon in the future. And then my mother-in-law got me a new embossing tool. I am so excited to have a new embossing tool. I can't even tell you. I've used mine for so many years and it makes horrible noises, and so I was so excited to get this. And then I also wanted to show you, I was at a kind of a consignment shop, and I wasn't even looking for anything to do with stamping or card making or anything. I was actually looking for a table runner in there, and I came across these 2 stamping pads from Stampin' Up, and I've never had a Stampin' Up stamp pad before, but I found these for $2 each, so I was so excited, and actually I'm going to use one of those to make our card today. So for the card that we're going to make today, I am using cream colored cardstock from Recollection, and I have cut this piece at 3 3/4 inches wide by 5 inches tall because I wanted more of a border around the edge of my card than I normally use. My card base is a standard A2 size. It's also in cream, which you will not even see from the front because I had planned initially when I was designing, when I was trying to this technique from Paper Tray Ink, I had wanted to have my card base to be like a green color and then have a second and maybe even a third matte. But when that didn't work out, I totally scratched that plan, and I found this paper from an old bitty pad that I had from Provocraft, and that I wanted that to really show. I really liked the way it was, and I had already been working on my card by the time I found this. So usually I have a margin around the edge of my card to show the base a little bit, but this time I'm not going to. So I cut this piece of this old bitty pad paper from Provocraft at 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 just to fit the size of the card. I am having some kind of trouble with my ATG today. Hang on just a second. I almost wonder if I got it lined up right or something. I don't know. I've not had trouble with it until this last refill, so I don't know what's going on here. There we go. So let's go ahead and adhere that down, and that step will just be completely done. And I'm sure that may be off camera just a little bit, but for lining it up I need to see it. Okay, so now I'm going to use this. This is called Rich Razzleberry from Stampin' Up, and this is going to be one of the main colors in my card. And for this, you know, I like to finish the inside of my cards, and this time I'm just doing one simple inside finishing touch. And I have these old stamps that I've had, or well, they're not old, but these old Studio G stamps, and I've just put them in here. These are from Studio G's, which I picked up at either Michael's or Joann's or my other craft store that used to be in the city. And all I'm using is this little tiny stamp that says "Love You So," and that's all I'm putting on the inside. I just want a very simple, and I want to keep it blank. Now the original card that I made for my sister is actually already completed, and I did it in Fired Brick instead of in this Rich Razzleberry from Stampin' Up, and I'll show you that finished card when we're done here in a little bit. Now I want to use this as scratch paper because well, I may not need it, but we'll get back to that. So we'll just set this aside, and now we'll pull our base here. Now I am still going to use the Stampin' Off technique that Papertrey Ink used in their original video. It's just, I can't even tell you, I'm going to have to get new stamps because it just ended up being a beautiful flower garden with the Stampin' Off technique. And I can't do that with, it just didn't look right with the stamps that I had. But I am using the Papertrey Ink stamp. And I'm using flower number 12. And it's this cute little, I don't think you can see it really well, but it has buttons and things to put in it, and it has some sayings. And I'm just using the flower itself. And I'm going to stamp off 3 different flowers here. And you notice I'm not re-inking between each flower. So that means each one is getting progressively lighter. And that's exactly what I wanted in this particular stamp. And I just used Forest Moss to do that. And let's set that aside. And then now for the flower part, let's go back to our Rich Razzleberry. And you know, I really want to get a good ink on that first one because it's got to ink for me 3 different times. And so we're going to go 1, pressing down firmly between each one, 2, and 3. And I picked up a little bit of something off my pad. I don't know what it was, but carpet or grain of some kind, but I think it still looks okay. So we'll do that. And you know, since I'm not loving that carpet fiber pickup, I'm just going to flip it over. I think it'll be just fine. Actually, I'll be right back. I'm just going to cut a new piece. It's going to show. Okay, so we're back. Sorry about that. I just cut it and re-stamped it, so this shows our flowers in the top. Now the other thing I wanted to do is I'm doing Happy Birthday in the corner, and I have this set from Stampendous that I've had for a long time, and that's what I used for this Happy Birthday. So I went ahead and did that so that we would be that far. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my distress tool, and I'm just going to distress the ends. You can use whatever you like. I know before I had a distress tool and I wanted to distress, I've even used a fingernail file. You could maybe even use your fingernail, or you could use scissors, however you want to distress. I like to use this little distress tool from Tim Holtz. And I just run it across the edge here and just give it a good distress look. Okay, there we go. So there, that's all distress. Now I went back into my ink and I pulled my distress ink in Antique Linen from Tim Holtz, of course, and let's just ink around the edges just to give it another level of texture, and just kind of finish off those edges, just kind of make it look pretty simple. I mean, just give it that little detail. You know, details really make the difference in a very simple plain card and one that looks just a little bit more elegant. So now we're going to finish this front off. Now notice I've got this big empty space here, and that's because I want to put some twine on it. And I was debating on which one to use, so I pulled both the lilac twine from the Twinery and the honeydew from the Twinery so that I could see which one I wanted. And no, I think I'm going to go with the lilac, just because when it up against that green, it's just going to be really pretty. The other one, you'll see I didn't do it quite like that. But then I'm just going to take a piece of tape here and tape that down on the back, just to secure it while I'm finishing up the front of my card. Okay, just like that. And then I want to take another piece, which I could, no, stick with the lilac here. Take another nice piece and bring it through and kind of offset over to this side. I'm going to make my bow. Kind of pull those down and tighten that up a little bit like that. Spread that out there. and then make my bow. Now, I told you I was doing this for my sister. This one actually, I think I'm going to send to Operation Right Home. I did a red one for my sister because that's one of her favorite colors. So, and I'll have to wait a few days to post this video because I know that she watches my videos. So by the time this, I'm going to have to do this, and by the time you're seeing it, it's going to be probably several days up to a week after I actually made the card, so that she doesn't know what her card looks like before she even gets it. So last little step here, I had to just completely start over because it was that lilac was so dark coming through. I didn't want you to see, or the razzleberry was so dark when it came through that I didn't want you could see the flowers peeking through even against the green background. So I just cut a whole new piece. And the bow and I are not getting along right now. There we go. Okay, I'll play with that bow a little bit and you'll see. Oh, there we go. And there you have it. Happy birthday. Love you so. So there's a fun, quick little birthday card. And once I finally figured out what I was doing, it went together very, very quickly. So the red card that I used, the fired brick, this is how it turned out. And this I used pea pod instead of lilac twine. And I did that, and again on the inside it says love you so. So a couple cards, one for Operation Right Home, one for my sister's birthday. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.